Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been over a week since I did a movie review on my own channel. I just got back from South by Southwest Film Festival down in Austin, Texas. I saw 22 movies, reviewed them all on the We Live Film channel. You can check them out there if you like, but it's now great to be back on my own channel with my own voice and my own content and all that stuff. And after seeing a lot of independent films, it was nice to go back to the theater and see mainstream cinema. So welcome to I'm a little late. This movie came out last week and made tons of money, but welcome to my review of Kong, Skull Island, which I did not see in 3D, and I saw it at matinee price. So, of course, most people have seen this movie already. Most people probably know what I'm going to say. Maybe some people will disagree. Maybe some people will agree. I don't know if I'm going to have anything new to say on this film, but I appreciate you coming and checking out my review. And it's great to just be back reviewing movies on my channel and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this movie stars everybody from Brie Larson to Tom Hiddleston, Samuel Jackson, and John Goodman, and then everybody else. And then there also is John C. Reilly, and you know, it's a huge cast. Maybe too many people are in this movie. Now, I don't believe this movie has any connection to the 2005 film or the original King Kong movies that came before that. But I believe this is hopefully going to be the start, even though I think the movie that this movie is going to be tied to already happened. So this is kind of hopefully, since it did make money, and there's a thing at the end of the film, if you wait till the end of the credits, this will be a start of a universe that involves many monster movie characters, including King Kong and stuff that I don't want to spoil in this review. So the movie takes place in the 1970s, right after the Vietnam War. There's military men that are going to this island, and scientists, and this character, and that character, and John Goodman, and he wants to... Okay, so just got to find a way to get them all on the island, and then mayhem happens, and of course, you know, you meet King Kong. He's the true star, or Kong, King, whatever. He's the true star of this movie, of course. Everybody's there to see him. They're there to see the other creatures on the island. They are not really there to see anybody else in the film. Maybe John C. Reilly. Hopefully some comedy humor can come out of him. So I was excited to see this movie, but not really that much interested. But, you know, mainly because I love a good monster movie. I love big monster movies. And I loved King Kong from 2005. And I've enjoyed the other films, especially the one that came out in the 70s with Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange. And, you know, of course, the original stuff as well. So I'm a big fan of King Kong, even though I'm not an aficionado or anything. But, okay. This film is definitely what it wants to be. The film is directed by a young director who in 2013 gave us King of Kong. So this is quite a stretch from that. A big budget movie. That movie was more of a smaller film, a different kind of movie. But big, in the wilderness, so maybe that's why he was hired for the job. Big budget film. Kings of Comedy, Kings of Summer, 2013, Kings of Summer, directed this movie. Okay, so the big budget, beautiful locations, wonderful special effects, characters that either you like or you don't. But in the end, this movie has all that spectacle going for it. A-list stuff, A-list stars, A-list special effects. But I think the roots of this film, and I think the filmmakers really understood this. And I did appreciate that. Even though I do have issues with this movie, I feel like the filmmakers knew what they were making, and their roots were grounded in the B movie that we all loved growing up when we were kids, whether our parents saw films like Invaders from Mars and It, Terror from Beyond Space. That's what this film felt like. It was a B movie with really silly characters that either live or die in the film. Some you can care about, some others you just don't. But it's got a huge budget. So it's a B movie, and it knows that. I believe it knows that, with a beautiful, great cast, top-notch special effects. Now, I would admit that the movie took a while to really get me to care. Even though I like the way the movie looks great. I like the way the movie looked. Cinematography is beautiful. Whatever. So there is some moments where we have to meet all the characters and all the Avengers, I guess you could say, as they are coming together to go to the island. But when they get to the island and we see King Kong, or Kong, we get to really experience what this movie is all about. A monster movie, the adventure, the thrills, the chills, don't know who's going to live or die. I was very surprised that this was a PG-13 rated film, and I was quite surprised how violent it was. It might not be safe for maybe the younger audience, but I think, of course, a 12 or 13-year-old can appreciate it. But it was definitely more violent than I expected it. Of course, probably 12 and 13-year-olds were taken to Logan a few weeks ago and Deadpool about a year ago, so there you go. It looks great. King Kong looks great, even though I never really cared about him too much. There wasn't that emotional connection to it that I've had with the previous King Kong movies, especially the 2005 version. I really cared about that Kong and his relationship with the actress. There's not much like that. It's really the spectacle of the creature fighting other creatures and seeing those other creatures. The movie is 2 hours. I would have cut the movie about 15 minutes. Some of the pacing was a little off, and none of the humor really worked. I didn't feel the humor worked at all, except for John C. Reilly. He was the only one that I got a few laughs out of, and I liked his crazy. He's great. John C. Reilly is great being crazy. He's great to be a character to sympathize with, and I think he was perfectly placed as the character that he was in the film, and I did care about him most of all. A lot of the other cast love Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, John Goodman, Samuel Jackson, and others. They're fine in the movie. They fit their part of what they have to do. They do it successfully somewhat. And whatever happens to them, whether you care about them or not. I honestly, when characters died, I honestly did not care. I cared more when King Kong is throwing around the helicopters, bashing up monsters. That's what you're there for. Interacting with other monsters. That's why you want to see this movie. And that's why I would definitely recommend this film. Again, turn off your brain. I don't care if this movie ever really existed. I don't care that this movie is going to fuel a franchise or an encounter where King Kong might meet another monster and there'll be a King Kong versus or blah, blah, blah versus King Kong. Whatever. I honestly don't care about that too much. Though I did stay till the end of the credits to see the scene go, oh yeah, okay, so that was going to happen. It's a Warner Brothers and Legendary back together again, and they've produced some other films, you know, monster movies in the past, so of course you can look that up and be spoiled if you want to. I honestly didn't want to be spoiled too much, even though I knew, I kind of knew what was going to happen. So overall, it was a decent film, enjoyable, mainly because of the visuals and the great special effects, the creature designs. I liked King Kong the way he looked in this movie. He looked fine. He looked good. But I think I care more about Peter Jackson's King Kong than anything else. Peter Jackson's King Kong for me was just had that human aspect to it, that rawness. Yes, it had the crazy, ridiculous adventure and over the top, and it maybe went on a little too long, but it still had that emotional core. This movie doesn't really have that. Again, I don't think that's what this movie was going for. He was going for the fun factor, the ridiculous factor, the B-movie factor, and it succeeded with that. And overall, I really quite enjoyed the film for those reasons. Other than that, I can't really remember anything else. I'm very curious to see how this does tie into some sort of franchise, since this movie takes place in the 1970s, and probably other stuff is going to be happening in modern times. And I'm glad, I'm interested that this movie decided to take place during the early 1970s, around the time that Vietnam War was ending. So that was kind of different. Of course, that was some obstacles that they had to face, and it felt a little bit like the early 70s, a little bit. And I love Brie Larson, and I want to talk about her just for a few seconds before I go. I love Brie Larson. She's one of my favorite actresses. And if you're watching this review and you saw Kong, please go check out 2013's Short Term 12. All right, everyone, I am going to give Kong Skull Island, I will give it 3 stars out of 4. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. And also, please check out these amazing movie websites. And if you enjoyed this review, please click here to subscribe to my channel, and also please check out all my recent reviews right here on YouTube. Have a great day, live film, find peace, happiness, and harmony in anything and everything you do, and I'll talk to you at my next movie review.